Hi everyone, welcome to Talk Easy. Today in our studio, Catherine and Mike will be talking about shopping for clothes, asking for assistance.
Okay, so we all love shopping, right?
Yeah, who doesn't?
But shopping in another language can be
Oh, yeah.
a little tricky.
Absolutely.
And, we've all had that experience of kind of fumbling through, trying to ask for help in a store when we're traveling, or maybe even, in our own city if we're in a store where they speak a different language than us.
It's like the universal experience, I think.
Totally. And that's why today we're doing this deep dive
Yes.
into mastering English for shopping.
Right.
Because, our mission with Talk Easy is to help you guys gain confidence using English in everyday situations.
Exactly. Real world situations.
Right. And what could be more real world than shopping?
I mean, it's a must.
We've got a ton of great resources for this deep dive,
Yeah. A lot of great stuff.
including some really helpful tips from the Talk Easy podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you're planning a trip abroad or just want to feel more comfortable navigating an English-speaking store, we're going to break it all down
Right,
and make
yeah.
sure you can shop till you drop with total confidence
Right. In English.
in English.
It can be a little intimidating.
Yeah, it can.
Walking into a store and,
Totally. Yeah.
being surrounded by
Right.
all these clothes, and you're like,
Exactly.
how do I even
Oh, yeah.
how do I even start to describe what
Uh-huh.
I'm looking for?
And it's not just about knowing the words for shirt or dress.
Right.
It's like,
It's more than that.
it's about being able to describe the fit you like, the
Mhm.
material,
Right.
maybe the occasion you're shopping for.
Yeah, because you could have the word in your head,
Right.
but then you get in there
And it's gone.
and it's just like poof.
And then you end up, I remember one time I was
Oh no.
trying to buy a wool sweater in Scotland,
Okay.
and I completely blanked on the word wool.
Oh no.
And I ended up describing it as the stuff sheep wear,
Oh, it's cute though.
which, got a laugh.
It's creative.
But it wasn't exactly the most efficient way to shop.
I mean, the poor saleswoman was like, "What is this woman talking about?"
Right. So, yeah, like thinking about those synonyms beforehand
Yes.
can be a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Knowing cashmere or cotton,
Right.
fleece.
Yeah, or even just, like a warm material.
Exactly.
Sometimes you don't even need the exact word.
That's true.
So, okay, vocabulary is obviously super important.
Super important.
What else should we be thinking about?
Well, before we even hit the shops,
Yes.
we got to think about sizes,
Yes.
especially
Especially if you're
if you're going internationally.
Yeah.
Those sizes can be
Hate to
all
keep-
over the place.
U.S. sizes, UK sizes.
Right. European
It's
sizes.
like a whole different language.
And knowing those conversions
Yeah.
can really save you
It's key.
some trouble
Yeah.
in that fitting room.
Right. And what about those in-between sizes?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm usually a medium,
Yeah.
but sometimes I want like a looser fit.
How do you say that in English?
Right. So that's where knowing those descriptive words
Yes.
really comes in handy.
Okay.
Like fitted,
Uh-huh.
loose,
Yeah.
oversized.
Okay.
You can say,
Yeah.
I'm usually a medium, but I prefer a more relaxed fit.
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
do you have this in a large for a comfortable oversized look?
I love that.
Right.
Okay, so it's all about painting a picture
Yes.
for the salesperson so
Yeah.
they can really understand what you're looking for.
Help you find the right thing.
Exactly. And speaking of asking for help,
Right.
are there any kind of go-to phrases
Oh, yeah.
you should keep in mind?
Absolutely. So, excuse me, do you have this in a different size?
Classic.
Classic. Or could you help me find something similar in a different color?
I love that.
It's just being
Mm-hmm.
polite and specific
Yes,
goes a long way.
absolutely. And of course, we got to talk about money.
Oh.
Prices,
discounts.
right. Especially if you're on a budget.
Yes.
I'm always a little hesitant to
Haggle.
haggle. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hear in some cultures it's expected.
Oh, yeah. It's like a
And so
dance.
Yeah.
It's part of the experience.
So how do we handle that in English?
Okay. So even in places where it's not like the norm,
Right.
you can still politely inquire about sales or promotions.
Okay.
Like, is this item on sale?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any discounts available today?
Those are perfect.
Just kind of putting it out there. So,
Yeah.
uh.
Okay, so we've got our vocabulary prepped,
Yeah.
our phrases practiced.
right.
But let's be real, sometimes things just don't go as planned in a store.
Oh, they never do.
Right. Like what if they don't have your size? Or you need to make a return.
Right.
Like those situations,
Mm-hmm.
they can feel awkward even in your native language.
Absolutely.
So how do we navigate that in English?
Okay, so again, having a few king phrases
Mm-hmm.
ready to go. can really help.
Okay.
So, for example, if something doesn't fit,
Yeah.
you can say something like, "Excuse me, I tried this on, but it's a bit too small.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be possible to exchange it for a larger size?"
Oh, the dreaded exchange.
Oh, I know.
I once tried to return a pair of shoes in Spain,
Uh,
and it was a disaster.
really?
I think I ended up like miming the whole thing
Oh,
with like
that's
foot gestures and
well, it gets the point across.
well, it did eventually,
There you go.
but it wasn't pretty.
But it highlights
Yeah.
how important,
Clear communication.
yes, clear communication is.
It was key.
Yeah. So knowing those words like
Right.
refund,
Mm-hmm.
exchange,
Yeah.
and being able to actually say
Right.
the reason for the return.
Yeah.
It makes things so much smoother.
And what about, like when you need something really specific,
Okay.
like let's say a dress for a wedding
Yeah.
or a suit for a job interview.
Yeah.
Like those are high stakes shopping trips.
Oh, absolutely.
So how do you make sure you get what you need?
Okay. So in those situations,
Yes.
the key is details.
Details. Okay.
Be as specific as possible.
Okay.
So you could say something like,
Right.
"I'm looking for a formal dress for a wedding.
Uh-huh.
I'd prefer something floor length in a dark color and ideally made from silk or satin."
Wow.
All right.
You sound like a fashion expert.
I try.
But not everyone's a fashion expert.
Right.
Like what if you
You don't know what you want.
don't know what you want? You just
Yeah.
walk in and you're like,
I just need help.
I need help.
Okay, so that's where asking for that assistance comes in.
Yes.
Right? So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to say, "I'm not really sure what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Could you help me find something suitable for occasion?"
Mm-hmm.
Most salespeople
Okay.
are more than happy
Right.
and offer suggestions.
It's their job.
It is their job.
And guide you in the right direction? Perfect. Okay, so we've covered vocabulary,
Yes.
phrases, those
Yeah.
tricky situations.
Right.
But I think to really bring it all to life,
Yes.
we need to hear some real-world examples.
I agree.
So let's dive into some dialogues.
Yes. Let's do
On
it.
the Talk Easy podcast
Right.
and see how these concepts actually play out in conversations.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you ready to dive into some of these dialogues?
Yes, bring them on.
All right, so I love these dialogues from the Talk Easy podcast
Wow.
because they really capture those little moments
Mhm.
of interaction. Those little
Take us.
nuances that can make or break the shopping experience.
Totally. It's like sometimes you know the phrase, but it's like, how do you say it in a way that's like
Right.
polite, but also like
You don't want to
get your point across?
You don't want to be rude.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's start with like a classic situation.
Okay.
You're looking for a specific item,
Yeah,
but they don't have it in your size.
right. The worst.
Ugh, the worst. How do you handle that?
So there's this one dialogue in Talk Easy
Mm-hmm.
where the customer's looking for these shoes,
Okay.
but they don't have them in her size.
Oh, no.
And she says something like, "Excuse me, I was hoping to find these shoes in a size 7.
Okay.
Do you happen to have any in stock?"
Yeah. I love that.
Right.
It's polite. It's
Yeah.
specific.
Mm-hmm.
And it like leaves room for them to like maybe offer a solution.
Right, exactly. Because what did the salesperson say?
Ooh, tell me.
Let me check our system.
Okay.
Sometimes we have additional sizes in our back room.
Oh, that's great.
So they didn't just say like, no, and move on.
They actually like looked into it,
They actually took the time to investigate.
which is so important. It
is.
It makes you feel like
Right.
you're valued as a customer.
Value, like they care.
Right.
They want to help you.
Totally. And in this case, they actually found the shoes
Yeah,
in her size.
they did.
So it's like
Happy ending.
happy.
It turned what could have been a really frustrating situation
Right.
into a positive one.
I love that.
Me too.
Okay, so we've seen how to handle the unavailable sizes.
Okay.
But what about
What about returns?
returns?
Exchanges.
Ah,
Yeah, those are a little
those can be tricky.
more delicate.
Yes.
So Talk Easy had a great example of this too.
Okay.
The customer had bought a shirt,
Okay.
but he realized it didn't fit quite right.
Oh, no.
And he went back to the store
Yeah.
and he said, "I recently purchased this shirt,
Hmm.
but I'm afraid it's not the right fit.
Okay.
Would it be possible to exchange it for a different size?"
I love that.
Right.
It's so much better than just like,
I need to return this.
I need to return this.
Yeah.
It's so like
Right.
much more
Yeah, it
polite.
explains the situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the salesperson responded with,
Okay.
of course, no problem.
Oh, I love that.
Do you have your receipt with you?
And would you like to try on a different size to ensure a better fit?
Okay, so they're being super helpful,
Super helpful.
understanding,
Yes.
and they're even suggesting a solution.
They're proactive.
I love it.
It's like,
Yes, and just
ticking all the boxes.
checking all the boxes. It's like those little phrases.
Yeah.
Those nuances.
Yeah.
They make such a difference.
Absolutely.
And just using, excuse me,
Yes.
thank you.
Oh my gosh, so important.
So important.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like shopping etiquette
Yes.
can be so different
Oh, yeah.
depending on where you are in the world.
Absolutely. Different countries.
Different cultures.
Yeah, it's a whole other
It's like a whole
ball game.
ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Talk Easy actually highlighted some really interesting cultural insights.
Okay, tell me.
So, for example, in many English-speaking countries,
Mm-hmm.
it's totally normal
Right.
to ask salespeople for help.
Oh.
In fact, it's encouraged.
Really?
See, I always feel bad. Like, I don't want to bother them.
Right. But they're there to help.
Okay.
They want you to find what you need.
So they're like little shopping fairies.
They are like shopping fairies.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah. And another thing they mentioned was tipping.
Oh, tipping, yes.
In some countries, it's customary to tip salespeople,
Okay.
while in others, it's not expected at all.
Right. That's good to know.
Yeah. So you don't want to
You don't want to accidentally offend anyone.
Right. Exactly.
So it's always good to kind of do your research
Do a little research.
beforehand.
Yeah.
Or if you're not sure, just ask.
Just ask politely,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And most people will be happy to tell you.
Perfect. Okay, so we've heard these great examples
Yeah.
of how to navigate different shopping scenarios.
Absolutely.
But what about those times when
Oh.
you're in a store
Yeah.
and you hear a word
And you're like,
you don't know?
I don't know what that is.
It happens to me all the time.
All the time.
And it's embarrassing to be like,
What does that mean?
what does that even mean?
Right.
Like, what do we do?
So Talk Easy had some advice for this too.
Okay.
They suggest using phrases like,
Okay.
I'm sorry, do asked.
Uh-huh.
Could you repeat that?
Mm-hmm.
Or could you explain what term means?
Okay, so just being direct
Just be direct.
and asking for clarification.
Yeah, because it's much better than
Right.
nodding along and pretending you understand.
And you have no idea
Or-
what they're talking about.
Exactly.
I've been there
We've all been there.
so many times.
It's okay.
Okay, so I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Like, I'm feeling much more confident about shopping in English.
I'm glad.
But I'm curious.
Okay.
Are there any, less common situations or,
Yeah.
more challenging scenarios
You're challenging.
where we might need some extra help?
Okay. So we've covered the basics,
Yes.
but sometimes you got to go a little deeper. So let's explore some of those
Yes.
more advanced situations next.
All right, I'm ready for those advanced shopping challenges.
Okay, so think about those times when you're not looking for a specific item,
Yeah. Okay.
but you have a vision in mind.
Mm.
Like you want a dress that's perfect for a summer picnic
Okay.
or a bag that's both stylish and practical for travel.
Oh, yeah. Those are tricky.
Yeah, it's like you know what you want,
You have the picture.
but the words
You don't know how to describe it.
escape you.
Right. So in these cases, descriptive language is key.
Descriptive language, okay.
So instead of just saying, I need a bag,
Right,
you could try something like,
okay.
I'm looking for a versatile bag, something lightweight and spacious enough for travel, but still stylish enough for everyday use.
Wow, that's good.
Right.
It's like a whole sentence.
It is. It's a whole sentence.
But it's like it really paints the picture.
It does. It shows that you've put some thought into what you want.
Exactly.
Don't be afraid to use those adjectives.
Adjectives, okay. To describe the style,
Mm-hmm.
the material,
Right.
or even the feeling you're going for.
Ooh, the feel.
Like,
Oh,
I want a dress that's flowy and comfortable.
Okay.
Maybe in a natural fabric like linen or
Uh.
cotton.
I love that.
You're creating a mood board.
A mood board with words.
Yes, with words.
Okay, I like that.
And, building on that,
Okay.
what if you're shopping for someone else
Ooh.
and you want to make sure the gift is just right?
Okay. That's tough.
And it's tough, especially if you don't know their taste or size.
Right.
So in those situations,
Yeah.
it can be helpful to ask the salesperson for their expert opinion.
Oh, their expert opinion.
Yeah, so you can say, I'm looking for a gift for my sister.
Okay.
She's really into bohemian style.
Okay.
Do you have any recommendations?
I love that.
Right?
It's like you have a personal shopper
You do. You have a personal shopper.
right there in the store.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, while we're talking about expert opinions,
Yep.
let's not forget about store policies,
Oh, pause.
like returns and exchanges.
Right, right.
But also things like price matching warranties,
Okay.
or even like their stance on sustainability.
Oh, that's a good one.
You know, it's becoming more and more common for
Yeah.
shoppers to be conscious
Totally.
of a company's ethical practices.
I agree.
So how do you bring these topics up in conversation?
Yeah. I mean, it can be kind of awkward.
Yeah. But just start by simply asking,
Okay.
what is your policy on topic?
Okay. So, like,
Yeah, so for example,
Okay.
what is your return policy for sale items?
mm-hmm.
Or do you offer price matching if I find this item cheaper elsewhere?
Those are great.
Right.
It shows that you're, like, informed.
Yeah, you're an informed consumer.
You've done your research.
Yeah, exactly.
You care about more than just the price tag.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And speaking of price tags,
Okay, here we go.
let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Negotiating prices.
The haggling.
The haggling
I've always been too scared. It's scary.
to do it.
Yeah, it takes practice.
Okay, but let's say I'm in a market
Okay.
or like a smaller shop where it seems like,
The
you know,
prices are a little more flexible.
flexible. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I do it?
Okay, so you could try something like,
Okay.
that's a beautiful item.
Okay.
Would you be willing to come down a bit on the price?
Oh, I like that.
Right.
Okay.
It's polite, it's respectful,
Yeah.
and it leaves room for negotiation.
Perfect.
And, even if they don't budge on the price,
Right.
you can still walk away
Feeling good.
feeling good about having tried.
I love it.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we've come to the end of our deep dive.
we have.
I feel like I've learned so much. I'm
Don't
like
ya?
ready to go on a shopping spree.
Yes.
But before we wrap up,
Okay.
what's like one final piece of advice
One final piece of advice.
you would give to our listeners?
My advice is to embrace the learning process
Okay.
and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
To make mistakes. Yes, because every interaction, every conversation
Right.
is an opportunity to improve your language skills
And your confidence.
and your confidence. Exactly.
I love that.
And so go forth.
Yes.
Shop with confidence.
Shop with confidence.
You got this.
Okay. Happy shopping, everyone.